pain or discomfort, as in joint pain, muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little rest, stop and rest. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. The usual props, so the band or strap, and then a pillow, or if you've got like the Pilates board, just as something that you can use for assistance and for resistance. And then finding your neutral, whether you're seated or laying down on the back, see if you can try and lengthen through. So if I'm laying down, I'm just going to use the mat to help me guide the spine, to help me relax. If I'm seated, see if I can try and ease off some of the compression at the front of the belly. So making sure that I'm not squashing everything down, preventing the diaphragm from descending properly and creating that nice relaxed breath. So see if I can try and bring myself up, giving myself a little bit more space at the front so that I can breathe into the belly instead of forcing the breath up into the chest. So softening the neck, relaxing the throat, relaxing the chest. See if I can guide the breath down into the belly. And then as usual, as I keep that relaxed breath going, see if I can just to be aware of where the body is and how it feels. So if I'm lying down, notice whether the pressure is even right and left side, whether the arms are in the same position, the legs are in the same position, if there is a change. I'm not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how it feels to begin with. And then once that you feel the breath feels a little bit more settled, the body feels a little bit more relaxed, we're going to focus on the neck. Starting off with a little rotation, I'm just going to turn the head to look over one shoulder, come back to center, and then I'm going to turn to look the other way. Come back to center, and then turn to look the other way. So maintaining the rotation going, same as usual. Notice if you're seated, especially if you're seated, make sure that the shoulder is not going back with the head. So the shoulders are still, it's just the head that is turning, as if I was trying to line up the chin with the center of the shoulder. I'm going to try and turn, come back, and then turn to the other side. And then as usual, comparing the two sides and noticing if one side feels looser, stiffer than the other, if the movement feels easier or more restricted. If you're lying down, making sure that the head stays on the floor. So as you're turning from side to side, you're not loading the neck. So the weight of the head just sits on the mat. 4, 3, 2, 1. Turning the head to look over the right shoulder. Hold it there. And then see if you can take 5 breaths here. Each exhale. See if you can try and turn just a little bit further. Turning your gaze. Just to see if you can look around with your eyes a little bit more. 3, 4, 5. Using the head back to the center. Turning to look over that left shoulder. Holding the head in that position. 5 breaths to see if I can go a little bit deeper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing back. Returning the head back to the center, adjusting the position of the head. And then from rotation, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So bringing the right ear down to the right shoulder, back to the center, and then left ear to the left shoulder, and then back to the center. Think of a little pause every time that you go to the side. So just to bring awareness to the neck. So feeling a gentle stretch coming down the right side. Feeling a gentle stretch going down the left side of the neck. And then same as I did for the rotation, notice the shoulders, making sure, especially if you're seated, making sure that the shoulders are not moving. It's just the head moving to the shoulder. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing the head back to the middle. I'm going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And then just allowing the head to sit there. So feeling the stretch coming down the left side. If I feel that the stretch is comfortable enough, I want to make it a little bit stronger. Then with my left arm, I'm going to reach down the side, creating a little bit more traction so I can feel a slightly stronger stretch. And then if I feel that the stretch is still comfortable, I can make it stronger. With my right hand, I'm going to hook onto the side of the head and then gently pulling the head in the opposite direction. See if I can create a little bit more stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to ease that tension. And then I'm just going to gradually bring the head back to the middle. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, the head a little bit of a turn. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So left ear to the left shoulder. If I feel that this is enough, I'm going to stay here. If I can make it stronger with the right arm, I'm going to reach down, creating a little traction. And then if I want to make it stronger with the left hand, I'm going to hook onto the side of the head and gently pull it away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easing the pressure. Returning the head back to the middle. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. So there's a little bit more movement into the neck from lateral flexion. I'm going to go into forward flexion and extension. So if I'm seated, I'm just going to try and keep the rib cage nice and still and just move the head. I'm going to tuck the chin to the chest. Think of the back of the neck lifting and then curling forward. So lengthening away. Then I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to raise the head, still keeping the neck long. I'm going to bring the chin up towards the ceiling. Think of the front of the throat opening up. And then I'm going to tuck it in again. So keeping that movement going. If I'm lying down, I can use the hands to allow me to curl the head just a little bit further to feel the stretch at the back of the neck. And then I'm just going to ease the head back and then try it again. 5. So no pain, no referred pain down the arms, so no tingling into the fingers. 2. Last one. And releasing back. Giving the head a gentle roll, the shoulders a little bit of a roll. Hopefully the neck feels a little bit looser. I'm going to see if I can bring the movement down into the rest of the spine. So going back into the rotation, I'm going to Start to turning towards the right. If you're seated, the arms can be resting on your chest, so you can swing them around, it's whatever feels easier. If you're laying down, it's easy if you swing the arms, as that will take you into the rotation. So I'm going to turn to look around one side, come back to the center, and then I'm going to turn to look around the other way. Turn one side, and then turn the other. And then same as you've been doing for the neck only, noticing if one side feels more restricted than the other. So how far can I swing the arms to the right? How far can I swing them to the left? How far can I rotate one way? How far can I rotate the other? So if I'm laying down, see if I can turn the shoulders to one side, going onto one shoulder, and then over to the other side, onto the other shoulder. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to rotate to the right. With that left hand, with the right hand, I'm going to grab hold of the left arm, and then I'm going to hug it nice and close to the chest. So see if I can create a little bit more stretch around the back of that left shoulder and across the middle of the back. So encouraging that rotation as if I was trying to put my seat belt on, using the right arm to help me reach further with the left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back to the center. I'm going to rotate to the left. With the left hand, I'm going to hang the right arm into the chest to see if I can get onto the seat belt on the other side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, just a little bit more movement in rotation. Same as I did for the neck, I'm going to go into lateral flexion. So if I'm seated, I'm just going to let the arms come down the side, and then I'm just going to run the fingers down the side, come back to the center, and then round the side the other way. So as usual, think of those two pulleys down the side of the waist, pulling you down one side, pulling you down the other. So one is pulling down, the other one is lengthening, one is pulling down, the other one is lengthening away. And then same as usual, if you're laying down, to make sure that the neck doesn't stiffen up, I'm going to support it with a hand. So with the left hand, I'm going to support the head as I reach down the right. With the right hand, I'm going to support the head as I reach down the left side. So switching from one over to the other side. Feeling a little bit more activation into the obliques, into the side of the belly. And then same as you've been doing so far, always comparing the movement, making sure that you're not, especially if you're seated, you're not leaning forward into it, you're not leaning back into it, you're just going side to side. So mobilizing the spine, see if I can create a nice stretch onto the upper side as I switch from one to the other side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing your way back to the center. I want you to flex it to the right and then holding the flexion. See if you can think of that left side of the rib cage. Imagine to be inhaling, so breathing into that left side. So I'm going to inhale, I'm going to try and expand the left side as much as I can. As I exhale, I'm going to see if I can flex a little bit deeper. Inhaling, I'm going to expand. Exhale, see if I can flex a little bit more. 2 more. Expand. And reach a little bit more. Last one. And then I'm just going to ease my way back to the center. So noticing the difference between the right and the left side, the right side should be feeling maybe a little bit looser, a little bit bigger. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So flexing to the left, I'm going to hold that flexion, and then think of breathing into the right side of the rib cage. So I'm going to breathe in, expand the rib cage, out, going a little bit deeper into the flexion, in, expand, out, going a little bit deeper. 2 more times. Last one. And then release it back. Relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the spine, relaxing the back. Same as I did with the neck, I'm going to go into forward flexion and extension. So exactly the same as you did for the neck. See if you can think of the shape of the rib cage. So as I sit, as I lay down normally, I've got the natural curve. So it's a little bit of a roundness that way. What I'm trying to do is to try and soften that curve. So see if I can try and extend at the front and then flex in the back. Extend and flex. So see if I can make a change at the top of the spine. So a little extension, a little flexion. The lower back is not moving, the hips are not moving. If I'm laying down on the mat, as I extend, I should be able to feel the rib cage pulling away. As I flex, I should be able to feel the rib cage pushing into the mat. So I'm going to extend and flex. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back. Adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the back. Just a little bit more movement at the top. I'm going to work into the lower back. I'm going to start off with a little pelvic tilt. So tilting the pelvis back, I'm going to flatten the lower back into the mat. And then forward, going back into neutral. So I'm going to tilt and release the tilt. If you're seated, think of the same movement that you just practiced with the upper body. See if you can this time focus it down onto the lower body, onto the lower back. So I don't want the rib cage to move. I want the lower back to move. So I'm going to scoop the belly in to try and create that flexion. And then I'm just going to try and rock myself back into neutral. So rocking back onto the tailbone and then coming up onto the very tip of the seat bones. Rocking back onto the tailbone and then up onto the tip of the seat bones. So just a gentle movement. As I feel the lower back is responding a little bit more, then I'm going to tilt back and then I'm just going to hold that tilt. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to release and then try again. I'm going to tilt, I'm going to hold that tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, tilt, hold that tilt. Relaxing the neck, relaxing the jaw. 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. One more time. Tilt, holding that tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing back. Adjusting the hips if you need to, or adjusting the seated position if you need to. And then from a forward and backwards tilt, I'm going to go into a little hip hitch. So think you're pulling the right hip bone towards the right side of the rib cage, hitching the right hip up, and then I'm going to hitch that left. Hitch the right, hitch the left. So the pelvis this time is moving that way, just rocking gently side to side. The back of the pelvis is staying on the mat if I'm lying down. If I'm seated, imagine to be taking the pressure off one of the seat bones. So I'm going to try and pull it up, then drop it back down, pull it up, and then drop it back down. So again, aware of the tension into the side of the belly. Again, the obliques working to create that little lift. The shoulders and the neck relax. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to hitch the right hip up. I'm going to hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to relax. I'm going to hitch the left hip up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. I'm going to hitch the right again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And relax. And the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And relax. One more time on each side. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And relax. Left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. Adjusting the hips, adjusting the seated position. So a little bit more movement into the lumbar spine. We're going to see if we can start getting the spine to articulate together. So starting off with a little rotation. I'm going to turn the head, turn the shoulders, and then reach inward by hands. If I'm sitting, reach inward by hands on the outside of the leg. See if you can kind of like pull yourself around as far as you can. Then I'm just going to ease my way back, and then I'm just going to rotate and pull myself around as far as I can the other way. If I'm lying down, I can't hook onto the leg as the leg is a bit too far. So I'm just going to grab hold of my left wrist, and then as I rotate to the right with my right arm, I'm going to pull on the left arm, see if I can create a little bit more stretch. Then coming back to the center, with the left arm to hold the right wrist. And then as I rotate to the left, I'm going to pull on the right arm, rotating the other way. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, returning back to the center, relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the hips, adjusting the back. And then I'm going to start adding a little bit more movement into the shoulder, into the arm. So I'm going to start off with a little front raise, raising the right arm up to the front. I'm going to take the arm back as far as I feel in control of the arm. Then returning the arm back by the side, and then I'm going to try the same thing with the left side. So little movement, big movement. As usual, it's not important the size of the movement. Just make sure that you're not stiffening into the shoulders, you're not clenching your jaw, you're not tensing to create that lift. So if I'm seated, the arm feels heavier as I'm lifting it against the gravity. So I might not be able to lift it all the way. It doesn't matter. But see if I can create a smooth lift. So there's no tensing on the neck. I can move the head easily from side to side. There is no pain on the shoulder. There is no pain on the arm as the arm is moving. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Allowing the shoulders a little rest, the upper body a little rest. So I've got a smoother lift. I feel that I've got a little bit more control. This time I'm going to see if I can get both arms to synchronize. So as one lifts, the other one lowers, as one moves, as one goes up, the other one comes down. And then I'm going to change the angle slightly. So instead of reaching straight up and straight down, I'm just going to go slightly out to the side. So see if I can create a nice opening across the front of the chest. So I'm going to open up one way, close back to the middle, and then I'm going to open up the other way. So whether you're sitting or lying down, imagine a wall behind you. Think of putting the back of the hands on the wall at the same time. So not just one, not just the other, but both together. Then I'm going to ease back, and then I'm going to open up the other way, keeping the arm straight, keeping the arm bent. It doesn't matter. Just imagine like a spring in your hand that you're pulling, and then just let it come back. Pulling, and then let it come back. So no strain, again, no forcing, no tension. If I'm laying down, exactly the same thing. So see if I can open up through the chest, close back, open the other way. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll again, allowing a little rest for the shoulders, for the arms, for the upper body. And then I'm going to try one last time. The only thing that I'm going to change this time is the position of the hand. Instead of imagining to be putting the back of your hand on the wall behind you or on the floor, imagine to be putting the palm of your hand. So I'm going to open up, turn, and then try to push the palms into the back, then come back to the middle, and then push them the other way. So the arm is internally rotating because the palm is turning to face back. The movement will feel a little bit more restricted. Again, I'm not forcing, just to see how far I can go with my right, how far I can go with my left, without creating stiffness, without creating tension in the neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders, releasing the upper body. So there's a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. I'm going to change the movement one more time. Now that the joint is a little bit warmer, see if I can get rotation going through. So I'm going to bend the elbows, tuck the elbows into the side of the body, and then I'm going to start opening up into a little dumb waiter. So think of the shoulders dropping, the chest opening. I'm going to keep the elbows close to the side, and then I'm just going to rotate the arms out. I'm going to come back to the center, and then I'm going to rotate out again. So same as usual, think of the elbows as staying close to the side of the body, making sure that you're not pushing them back, especially if you're seated, and you're not letting them move away. So I'm going to try and squeeze them in, keep them tapped onto the side as I rotate out, and then come back. Rotate out, and then come back. But then, as usual, comparing the right and the left side, one arm rotates better than the other. One shoulder feels a little bit tighter, a little bit more restricted. On one side, I feel that I'm kind of like almost like tensing and leaning in that direction. See if I can let the shoulders drop, fall away from the head, come away from the ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, releasing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, and then we're going to focus on the legs. I'm going to grab hold of the pillow or the ball, whichever one I've got, and then I'm going to put it between the inner thighs, between the knees. I'm going to shuffle the feet a little bit closer together, and then trying to encourage the adductors and the inner thigh to work. I'm going to start squeezing into the ball, squeezing into the pillow. So I'm going to try and crush it between the knees, and then I'm just going to release. I'm going to try and squeeze it and release it. And then same as usual, I know that my left leg is really strong, my right leg is a little bit weaker, or vice versa. I can't feel one leg as good as I feel the other. So I'm just going to focus on the worst side, maybe using the hand to help me guide that leg in the movement. So see if I can try and get the inner thigh to switch on a little bit more on that side. So gradually pressing and then gradually letting go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to have a little rest, allowing the inner thigh to recover, and then I'm going to try again. Exactly the same, but this time, instead of just squeezing and letting go, I'm going to squeeze and hold, and then I'm going to let go. So I'm going to press into the ball, I'm going to hold the pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to let go. I'm going to try again. I'm going to squeeze and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the pressure. Squeeze a little bit harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let go. One more time. Squeeze the ball. Hold the pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze a little bit harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release back. Relaxing the leg, releasing the pressure from the pillow, from the ball, allowing the inner thighs, again, a little rest. And then I'm going to do exactly the opposite. So instead of squeezing, I'm going to try and open out. So grabbing hold of your band or your strap. If you've got an elastic band, then it's easier if you just tie around the knees. So a little knot or a little bow to hold it in place so that it doesn't come undone. Make sure that it's not too loose, or you will feel that you can't get the tension going. If you've got a belt or a strap, or so something that doesn't have a give, keep the loop just a little bit slacker, a little bit looser, so that you've got space to actually move the legs into that loop. So you can still push out into the band. The band is not completely tied around your legs. And then making sure that the band is around the thigh, not around the shin, so there's no pressure on the knee. I'm going to start pushing out into the band. So I'm going to try and drive the knees away from each other, and then I'm going to bring back towards each other. Same as I did for the squeezing. As I try and pull out on the band, if one leg is not responding or both legs are not responding very well to the movement, then I'm going to use the hands to guide them. So I'm just going to push with the hands, guide the legs, and then I'm just going to release and bring them back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Again, allowing the hips of the legs a little rest, and then same as I did for the squeezing, I'm going to try again, but this time I'm going to try and hold the tension for a little bit longer. So I'm going to push out into the band, I'm going to hold that tension, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to release. Then again, I'm going to push out into the band, hold that tension, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep that tension, see if you can squeeze a little bit more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release, one more time. Just pushing out into the band, hold the tension, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing back. Relaxing the hips, so releasing the legs. I'm going to undo the band, pushing it to the side, allowing the hips and the legs to relax. And then focusing on one leg at the time, I'm going to see if I can start going into a little hip flexion, into a little lift. So if I need a little support, I know that I can't really control the leg very well, then I'm just going to set the band around the back of the leg, or I can use the hands behind the leg. And then I'm just going to start moving the right leg up and down. It usually doesn't matter if the foot doesn't fully lift away from the ground, just to see if I can think of the action. So the front of the hip closing to pull up on the leg, and then I'm just going to let it go and release. Pull it up on the leg, and then let it release. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. So relaxing the hip, I'm going to try the same thing with the left side. So switching the band behind the left leg if you need to, and then I'm going to try and pull up on that left side. So see if I can create a little movement, a little twitching, a little tension into the front of that left hip. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the hips, so releasing the legs. So it's a little bit more connection with the hip flexion. See if I can work into hip extension to finish off. So I'm just going to bring the feet a little bit closer. If I'm seated, imagine to be standing off the chair. So I'm going to lean forward into the legs and then see if I can try and make the seat bends a little bit lighter. And then I'm just going to ease back down again. So I'm going to come forward, make the seat bends a little bit lighter, and then sit back down again. If you're lying down, we're going to bridge up. So I'm just going to push down into the soles of the feet and then driving the hips up and towards the ceiling. And then I'm just going to ease them back down. 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back. Giving the legs a little shake, relaxing the hips, so releasing the legs. If you're lying down, when you're ready, rolling over onto your side, and in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting. Finding your comfortable seated position. So adjusting the legs, leaning against the sofa wall. If I feel that I need a little support, or using the hands behind to offer that support. And then the same as we did at the beginning, see if you can picture that space at the front of the belly. So see if I can try and bring myself long and tall to allow, again, the diaphragm to create that relaxed breath. And then from there, I'm going to try and exaggerate that space and see if I can make it enormous, and see if I can make it bigger. I'm going to start pushing the chest forward. I'm going to lift up. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back as far as I can. And then I'm just going to release and then let myself come forward. Then again, I'm going to extend up, lengthening and opening, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward. One more time. Extending up. And then releasing back to the front. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take it back. Give yourself a clap for that. Any question or anything as usual, please say. Remember,